Hello, hello, hello. I am Deligod, also known as Deli G. And yeah, I write books. A lot of people don't know that, but if this, you're hearing that for the first time from me, next year I'm going to be putting out a book called, what is it? What is the book called? Oh, the Book of Exorcisms, right? Because I'm been studying metaphysics for a long time, getting into like spirits, angelic, demonic beings. What do they mean? What are the characteristics? How does one cast them out, allegedly out of one's own spirit? So, as I've been writing, I got some pretty unique material. Um, yeah, I got a new chapter of my book, and I just want to go over chapter one with y'all. So this is chapter one. It's Origins of the Unseen, Ancient Exorcisms and Spirit Battles. Before there were churches, there were whispers. Before the priest in white robes lifted his cross, a Sumerian priest in clay brick temples whispered to the wind, calling out names older than language. The first war, Mesopotamia. The oldest written exorcisms come from Sumeria and Babylon. Civilizations believed illness, madness, and misfortune were the work of Giddim or Utuku, which is unseen entities that could cling to human like smoke. Clay tablets from around 2300 BCE describe rituals where priests, known as Asipu or Ashipu, Ashipu, it's hard for me to pronounce this name, but used incantations, herbs, and statues of gods to expel the spirits. You see, their philosophy was simple but profound. Every spirit had a name, a vibration, a story. If you could name it, you could command it. The Ashapu stood between worlds, part healer, part magician, part scientist of the soul. They observed symptoms, diagnosed spirit type, and prescribed both physical and spiritual remedies. To them, exorcism wasn't just shouting at demons, it was restoring harmony. The Sumerians saw the human body as a vessel of divine order, and any invasion by a spirit as an imbalance in cosmic law, something to be recalibrated, not simply destroyed. In anime terms, this was the earliest version of chakra control, like in Naruto, learning to balance energy between body and spirit. Mesopotamian priests practiced spiritual equilibrium long before the term existed. The Egyptian shift, light, shadow, and the heart. You see, when exorcisms crossed the sands into Egypt, it gained a new layer, the psychology of the heart. Egyptians believed the Ka, or life force, and Ba, soul, personality, needed alignment, or negative entities could attach themselves. Temple healers use hymns, smoke from the kaifi, incense, and amulets inscribed with protective hieroglyphs. Some rituals called upon Sekhmet, goddess of wrath and healing, whose fiery breath could burn away illness and darkness. This was exorcism as purification, less a battle and more a cleansing. When one read the Book of the Dead, it wasn't a grim text of horror, it was a guidebook for navigating the unseen, teaching the soul how to recognize truth from illusion. Metaphysically, Egypt introduced a principle that would echo through centuries. To cast out darkness, the heart must be lighter than a feather of truth. See, a novice exorcist or anyone confronting inner turmoil will later rediscover this lesson. The lighter your heart, the less grip any darkness has on you. We have the Hebrew traditions, the word and the name. By the time that Hebrew mysticism matured, exorcism had become the art of the spoken word. In the Dead Sea Scrolls and later rabbinic texts, we find references to demons, the Shiddim, and spirits, Ruach Raha, expelled through psalms, prayers, and divine names. Where Mesopotamia used rituals and Egypt used balance, Hebrew exorcism wielded sound, the vibration of sacred language. The practitioner was now a vessel for divine will. Each word was a prayer and command, as though speech itself carried metaphysical force, a concept that modern physics might analogize, analog, my bad. The physics might analogize to resonance or frequency entrapment. From a novice perspective, the shift is intimidating. You realize exorcism is not about your muscles or bravery, but about alignment. The closer your vibration to truth, the more authority your voice carries. The echoes, this pretty much echoes the way Goku channels pure ki, you know. The cleaner his intent, the stronger his beam. The Greco-Roman bridge, philosophy meets spirit. You see, the Greek and the Roman thinkers tried to rationalize what older cultures accepted as spiritual fact. See, Hippocrates separated madness from demons. Speaking of bodily humors, yet philosophy like Plato and later uh, Neoplatonists still described diamonds or daemons, right? Intermediary beings between gods and humans. The word daemon wasn't evil at first. It meant spirit of influence. Or later, as Christianity rose, did demon take on its darker meaning, you know, being more so focused on evil spirits. In the Roman Empire, healers combined prayers, herbs, and amulets. Early Goetis, wandering musicians, were both feared and sought after. Their exorcisms mixed incantations with psychology, anticipating what we now call suggestion. A professional researcher today might note these rituals engage multiple sensory inputs: sight, sound, scent, rhythm, all capable of altering consciousness. Modern neuroscience agrees that rhythmic sound and focused intention can shift brainwave states, reducing fear and creating trance. The ancients might not have used EEGs, but they knew how to change their minds literally. So that's about all I got for, you know, one of the chapters in my book where um, I actually wrote this book or started writing this book out of sheer pettiness. A lot of people don't know that. Oftentimes, when I interact with people, it's always a more of a either I'm getting super mundane, slightly spiritual, super spiritual, right? And so if they're, you know, kind of mundane, we don't go full spiritual on them. You go slightly spiritual, just enough consciousness that they can resonate with on their level. Um, you know, bridging the gap between so-called spiritualism and science. You know, modern day science takes time to analyze the science of the old or the metaphysics of the old or the magic of the old to see if it's true or to see if it's uh, worth pulling forth. Because a lot of times when you talk to somebody that's very mundane, where I used to be, it's like, oh, I trust science. Science is, you know, our new religion. And even in science, you know, it's trial and error. You know, you have to be able to replicate the shit more than once. And some other scientists come with other conclusions, just like with certain other priests and exorcists, right? Seeing that we have, newer psychologies, when we learn about, um, when we go through certain traumas, where that can produce an entity in our own head or a split personality. And now you're acting out this whole other character, this whole alter ego, which is not all the way nice at the time. And then you have the spirit of influence, where when something is trending, and you take a hold of it, you start acting it out, whether it's healthy or not. We live in a very influential, trendy culture. So, yeah, that's first chapter. These are just some of the books I've been working on. Um, bridging the gaps between the metaphysics and the physics, and the mundane and the spirit realm, because they all coexist. The physical world and the spirit world are like this. They just layered over each other. So that's all I got. You'll hear more from my books.